welcome to another episode of the Data Dojo podcast. Today is a very interesting episode. I know I say that for every episode, but today it's really unconventional because I have two guests from a different background. Usually, when guests come to our podcast, they are mostly AI practitioners, AI engineers, data scientists, or people actively working in AI specific or software specific role. And with the AI proliferation, we are very interested to know their journeys. But today I was wondering, with AI expanding so much in every field, it would be interesting to have people use AI in creative ways. So I have two creative people today joining me, Anagha and Ruchi. I'm very excited to have you both. To start with Anagha, I've known Anagha for a long time. She and I go long back. We did our bachelor's together in India. We started our career in tech, bachelor's in India, and then master's from US in a technical field. But during the pandemic era, she pivoted to experimenting with baking, like all of us started experimenting in different things. She started experimenting with eggless baking, and that kind of triggered a creative spark in her. So today, she's a founder of Aunty Misri, a brand that crafts bake at home dessert kits that blend all the global flavors with making at home baking easy. Her journey is a testament on how personal passion can become a thriving culinary venture. Welcome to the podcast, Anagha.
Thank you.
My next guest is Ruchi Shah. Ruchi Shah is a climate practitioner and a children's author. Children's storytelling is obviously complicated, and to make science and climate literacy more accessible, she started storytelling with her company called Carbon Tales. In Carbon Tales, she uses art and narrative to build early climate literacy, turning complex environmental ideas into joyful and illustrated learning experience. I'm very curious to learn how she and Anagha both are using AI in these creative fields to make it more educational and more flavorful. Welcome, Ruchi, to the podcast.
Thank
I'm so
you.
excited to have you both.
Thank you.
Excited to be
Excited
here.
to be here. Six.
I'm super excited to have you both today and talk about the different creative ways you are leveraging AI. So let's start with a couple of questions and then we'll move on to our interesting segment, which is the lightning round. Are you both excited?
Yeah. Yes.
I want to know from both of you. We've been hearing about AI for 3 years now. Now it's as common as a Google search. And I don't think I even spend a day without not using ChatGPT or any of the AI coding assistants. It's so embedded into my workflow now. But when I talk to people from different industry, I'm curious to know, are they using how they are using AI? So I want to know, in a creative process where I feel AI is not there yet when it comes to creativity, but it still acts as an aid. So I want to know from you, how did AI first enter your creative process? Anaga, starting with you.
So, as you mentioned, first of all, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Very happy to be doing this with you after all these years. But to that point, like I started my journey in tech. So being up to date with the latest developments in the tech field, especially being in Silicon Valley, came easy to me. So when AI started just booming, I started experimenting mostly for my personal life, but then I slowly started trying it for writing product descriptions or like retail pitches or like the various copy that requirements that we have to do as business owners. We just have to keep describing our story and what we do in like different words for different areas. So that's where AI started for me. And then it started feeling like a thought partner who could just translate my brain spew into something that my audience could understand. That's what it was for me.
Yeah, similar to Anga, I'm a climate practitioner, engineer by training. I'm not a writer and author. So as I pivoted into this space of I want to write stories for kids, but how do I do it? I don't have the background. So AI was my perfect brainstorming partner, research partner to understand how children's stories are written, what the lingo is, what are the right parameters to think about. So I used a lot initially for research purposes just to even get my head around what it is to be an author and what it takes to publish a children's picture book. So a lot of research through AI went in, and the best part was it shortened my timeline, right? I could get my picture book out in less than a year. And when I talk to traditional authors, they're like, it takes 3 years, 4 years. And I'm like, oh, wow. So AI definitely improved my process and timeline for that part.
Yeah, that's very interesting to know. So it's like your partner in crime in brainstorming, researching. I'm curious to know, like, because you both are in creative fields, like thinking about baking ideas or like thinking about how to write something, especially a topic like, environment and climate, write it in an interesting way to keep the kids engaging. All of these are very creative processes, and you want to show your unique side as well. And AI is still very generic. So, what parts of creativity do you not hand over to AI? Like, where do you draw the line between what's your human imagination versus what's AI generated? Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because I feel humans in the loop are still pretty essential. So, for example, in case of books, my target audience is kids, so they are humans, right? So, I definitely drew line in terms of I would use AI for editing purposes, for concept testing, but I wouldn't let AI write my pages for the books. I would write myself and then test it out. And it was a lot of back and forth. And then I also entered into a second phase of getting humans in the loop. So I did a lot of beta testing with families, with parents, with educators, and librarians. So I was pretty firm about where I will draw a line. The book is not AI generated by any means, but I don't have a budget to hire an editor or a
Mm.
proof editor, right? So I would outsource those functions to AI tools, but still keeping humans in the loop throughout the process.
For me, I think recipe development and flavor intuition is my superpower. So that is something that honestly I never had to take AI's help with, but that is also where I draw the line because it comes from my personal palette and it's something that makes my brand me and unique. And also the cultural authenticity part, right? I mean, the stories behind each of the kits that we have, childhood memories of baking with my mom and why I'm doing this in a baking kit form versus selling just desserts, and like the flavors that I've collected from all the recipes that we have from India, Philippines, Morocco, they are deeply personal. So AI can't help exactly articulate those. And the source is always me. And also the huge fact that AI cannot taste yet, at least,
Yeah.
right? So, like, the final how the cake has to come out, the sweetness and all that is obviously me. So like AI cannot, they can probably help describe a Persian rose garden, for instance, but it can't tell me if the cake actually makes someone feel like they're there. So that's where I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. It's very well said. Yeah. The human side is still there. And I think to what both of you said, the more and more like I use AI pretty much on a daily basis when we are like, fine tuning a model or something like that. And then I see so many flaws with AI, which makes me feel very happy because I feel okay, there is still scope and AI is still so generic and still a yes man or woman like it. I'm very curious to know that, you know, AI is all about when you use AI, a lot is about the data and a lot is about how you ask and prompt it. And it's everybody has a different style. But are there any like AI specific tools that you use or any prompting style, a set of instructions or a way you follow to get the best result now that you've experimented a little bit? So any tips and tricks for any either AI tools or any prompting techniques that you have mastered?
I think I always follow the back and forth style because it's a developmental model for me that I share some ideas and then ask for refinements, ask for shorter versions, and then push back if it's not correct. So like I give it context and brand values and then ask it to fine tune everything based on that. And then often ask I often ask AI to check grammar or like proofread or just condense while keeping the tone same. Treat it as a collaborator pretty much. And like, yeah, I tell it who the brand is, what it stands for, and then just work together with it.
Similar to Anga, yeah, it's in such an iterative process, and that's when I realized prompting effectively is so important to get to it quicker. Because otherwise, I've also spent days where I've used so much of my prompt energy but not got the answers I wanted. So I do a lot of context setting. For example, in the book's case, helping the tool understand that it is for a toddler, this age group, this is the context, so that I get to my needs in a more effective way. Because just sort of bringing the thread into the climate side of my work, as we know, AI use a lot of resources, energy, and water, right? So I'm always mindful about, I'm not like using 50 prompts to get to a simple thing. If I had prompted in a better way in the first go, I would get my answer, right? So I always use that lens. That lens is in back of my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting that you said that because I was reading about it and I have, you prompt everything, like even replying to an email. And then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
studied that even to generate one video from AI, it takes 8,000 showers worth of water. And
Oh
then
my
whenever I'm using AI, okay, might as well use my own brain. But yeah, it is.
Agreed. Every tool uses different amount of resources. There is no like standard answer for that. But the bottom line is AI uses.
Yes, it is a lot. It's very resource heavy. So we can like at least write our emails or basic things by ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. So I think some of the tips that have worked for me is when I'm stricter with AI, like I I don't know, I've done this experiment where I have a prompt for the entire project and I tell it like this is life stakes are here. You have to do this. I'll lose everything or something like that. And the response quality is better. Whereas I prompted like very generic and also like reiterating things, keeping it in gaps and like those things have it sounds silly, but it does show improvement in the results. So I don't know. Worth
I think
experimenting.
KitKat recently ran a marketing campaign where, like, it's their slogan, right? Take a break, have a KitKat. So then it was telling us to, for all your prompts, ask it to take a break and answer this or write this. And the answers would actually be better, was their hypothesis. So I don't know. But I always start my prompts with, please do this, please do that.
Yeah,
Actually, that's interesting, Anga. You mentioned please because again on the climate side, what I've been learning through some of the practitioners in the field, like do not use unnecessary extra words.
yeah.
Because it takes again more resources. So there are lots of hypotheses on how to prompt effectively, right? So it's always, I think, iterative, and you need to keep testing what works depending on the tool. But one thing I try to do is keep it short. So initially, when I was testing my book ideas and concepts, I would write like long thesis, and that was hallucinating the model completely. So now I break into short chunks on like working on the plot, or it's working on the ending, or whatever the areas are. So I try to break it down.
I was curious about, so you mentioned it's a iterative process and what parts you hand it off to AI. I think there are still some misconception that people assume that whether you're in creative field, how do you use AI? Like, what is there's some misconception that when you tell people like, hey, I use AI in my process and they are like, is there anything that you've taken aback when you hear or any misconceptions that you feel people think when they hear people in creative fields are using AI?
In my experience, and especially in the book publishing business, AI is seen as a negative. So it often feels like then you have not used your brain, your creativity, and you're just dumping a book out there generated through AI. So I have to navigate that. And often when I'm doing pop ups or I'm doing library visits, parents do ask me specifically if I've used AI. And we have not used AI at all for illustrations. That is where I really wanted human creativity. So that's where I drew the line. But I do share that I've used AI for proofreading, editing, because I don't have a big budget in that sense. So I think that is very important to be transparent and authentic about how you have used AI if it comes up in your work. So I try to clarify that.
I think it's very important for especially people in creative fields to recognize that AI doesn't replace your creativity. It helps amplify it. I mean, it's for my brand, I'm the one with the vision, the flavors and stories from my travels. And then people assume that if you're using AI, you are not doing the hard work, but it does everything for you is a misconception. I do the heavy lifting of direction, gathering feedback, improving my product, and testing the product. Like AI can't go and physically pitch or like tell you what to pitch in the moment at an in-person event or to consumers or how to iterate your product. So it's I think myth that needs to be busted.
I totally understand. Like, and also sometimes when you see, these weird emojis in an email, something, the rocket symbol
Yeah.
or some things which is so AI that
The
I
M dash,
like
the long dash.
this is AI generated. I mean, not that it's a bad thing, but then you have this preconceived notion like, oh, they didn't work hard to write this, or like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, use AI, but always like proofread and add it.
Yeah. But I think it will get there. It should get there. Yeah.
Swagata, just to add to that, I also think people need to perceive that AI, to Anga's point, also, it helps us free up our capacity to do more meaningful, impactful things, right? We need more downtime to think. And if AI can do some tasks that are automated and time consuming, I think that is important to too. So we should not shy away from using AI where it needs to be used.
Yeah, 100%. I think like everybody says in the Bay Area that I think AI will replace people who are not using AI then.
That's very true.
So, in your whole process so far, experimenting with AI and different tools, have you wondered, like, I wish this tool would have existed, it would have made my life so much easier? Any functionality or anything like that you feel, "Arey, this is missing and it'd be great to have something like this?"
I think for me, being a CPG brand, so sometimes I need to iterate fast and try something out. So an AI tool that can help me with packaging, or even like a second idea is finance and accounting, right? Not like we can't wear all the hats and be great at them. And finance is something that you cannot drop the ball at, especially when you're bootstrapped, which often small business owners are. So AI tools that can help with that, I think I'm really waiting for them.
All the people who are listening, if anybody's building in AI,
Yeah.
For me, my audience, they're children, right? I just wish there is an AI tool which can exactly act as a child's brain, which is controversial in itself, right? So that I can concept test ideas. I really want to know what are the words or lines that will make a child giggle or get their attention, right? So that's like a dream for me to have a child brain like AI tool.
that'd be interesting. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I prompt like, explain it to me like a 5-year-old.
Yeah. It doesn't turn out, it's fine. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting ideas. One last question before we move to the next round. Any, if somebody wants to start using AI in creative fields, what would you advise based on your experiments with it to, what are your lessons or tips you would like to pass on?
I think use AI tools to shorten your time on research if you need to. Like I was saying, how to publish a book, that itself is a huge topic. And I could have spent many, many months just focused on that. But I use the tools to understand the process, what are the best tools to publish the book through, like what platforms are there and things like that. So I basically used for research purposes to begin with. So I think that is the most easy and effective and easy way to do that.
I think for me, I would just tell them to just start. Like that is something that I tell my 60-year-old mom to just do, like, ask anything and be specific in your prompts would be a close second, I think, because what you give it is exactly what you receive. And then just break it down like a 5-year-old, very step by step. I want this, I don't want that, I want now, then I want you to do this. And then just embrace it as a time saver, not as a replacement. So you're doing more meaningful things where you are irreplaceable. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of just start using it. Like how you use
Yeah.
Google, just try it. And then you
Yeah.
yourself will feel the power of the tools.
True, true. Just have to remove that initial fear of starting at, yeah, very well said. Awesome. Thank you for sharing all of those amazing tips and insights. I want to move to a fun segment and it's copied from a TV show, but it's in the TV show it's called Rapid Fire, so I'm going to use a different term but it sounds unique. It's the lightning round where I will throw back to back questions at both of you, and you guys can pick rock, paper, scissors, or however who wants to go first. We'll maintain the sequence. And you
Okay.
can't take too much time and try to have a lot of fire in your answer.
Oh my God. This
Oof. No pressure.
no pressure.
Is it like a contest? Who wins? Like the
Is there a
show?
hamper?
But also,
Aunty Misri
Okay.
hamper.
actually, but yeah, okay. Who wants to go first?
1 second.
Ruchi can go first, I think. She's getting ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, unlike the show, I don't have very spicy questions, so no worries. Okay, so we'll start with Ruchi. And I mean, Anagha back and forth. Okay, my first question for the lightning round. Ruchi, what's your go-to AI tool right now?
ChatGPT, hands down.
Perplexity for me.
What is a prompt that you use often?
This because I'm doing a lot of outreach emails to schools and libraries and whatnot. So I'm like, polish, make it better. Yeah.
For me, it's keep it short, make it shorter, but keep the vibe. It's like a lot of information, but I want only 2 lines.
Yeah. One creative step you never outsource to AI, Ruchi.
Writing, like I write first and then I use AI to edit. Even if grammar is wrong, words are not spelled correctly, I want to write myself first.
For me, it's recipe development and taste testing. I think it comes from my intuitions and my imagination, and that's where Aunty Misty's soul is.
I mean, AI still can't taste, like you said.
Yeah.
A moment where AI saved you tons of time. What's
Many moments
yeah.
every day. And that's why I use it, AI every day.
AI making things better, but a moment where AI made things worse.
For me, illustrations. Initially, I was delusional and I thought my book illustrations can be done by AI. I was not happy at all. So I would not outsource that to AI anytime soon.
For me, also, it's closer to image generation because, like, as a CPG brand, I need to photograph my boxes and they have text on them. And whenever I try to generate an image with them, the text is all messed up, and I can't use that image. So it's just
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm answering for this one because it's interesting.
yeah.
I tried editing my clone for making videos on Instagram, and I didn't, I had such a nice UK accent. It's hilarious, like how my accent was looking. So, but it's funny. But it caught my face and my gestures really well. But the accent, this Indian
Yeah.
American sort of accent is hard to catch, I guess. But it was funny. One story bake that you're proudest of this year.
My own story. My book got published. So I'm proud, very proud of that. Yeah.
I think we, as I told earlier, I put out my new packaging this year, but no AI was used over there. A very talented designer, his skills, and just a lot of time and iterations. But yeah, that's what I'm proud of.
What's your favorite time of
Morning walks with my dog. I often think a lot when I'm walking with my dog. And then nighttime when my daughter is in her bed. So I get some downtime to think again.
I think for me, it's kind of all over the place, but it's segregated. Mornings for like strategic or admin work, like emails, pitches, and planning. And then afternoons for actual creative stuff, which I like baking and recipe development is what, yeah.
Awesome. One myth about AI in the creative work that you'd like to debunk?
AI cannot replace creatives completely. I firmly believe that. And I experienced that through this my book process, at least for this year. So yeah, don't be scared.
I think mine is similar that using AI doesn't mean that you're not doing the real work anymore. It's just a tool like my stand mixer or my oven. It's just another tool in my box.
That's amplifying or helping your work rather than
Yeah.
replacing. Fair. Is there any trend in meaning baking and storytelling that you want to see more of that's not existing yet?
I honestly am not a very trend follower person. In fact, I try very hard to limit my Instagram hours and things like that. But I would want to see just to showcase why raising readers is important. I think that's something that as kids get more screen time these days and whatnot, we're losing out on that reading skill. So I hope, be it through Instagram or whatever medium, that trend remains, the trend of reading.
For me, I think like cultural desserts and like global favors making their way into mainstream grocery stores, not just a specialty market. So I'm envisioning a future where a kid in, I don't know, Kansas can grab a gulab jamun bun cake from Whole Foods. Same way they can grab like a chocolate brownie box.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
If AI could help you magically with one task, one life task, it need not be work related, what would that be?
House chores for me. There is so much that I'm juggling with, and all parents do. So if AI can take care of the house stuff, I'll use all my time on creative stuff.
I think it would be training for my 10K run in January. I'm a reasonably strong person, but I am not by any means a runner. So I've got my running routine down, but if AI can help me with like analyze my form, my pace, like give a real time running data, I think I'd be eternally grateful because it's a struggle.
Idea for viewers to make
Yeah.
something like that. But ditto on the house chores. I'm like, if you have to make intelligence, please take my laundry chores
Exactly.
from me. I would like to do my
Actually,
chores
basic
by
stuff.
myself.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, those were all the questions. Very, very rapid and full of fire. So good job. Thank you both for coming. It was very nice to hear non use of AI in something creative and how you're leveraging that. So it was good learning for me and I'm sure for the listeners as well. Before we part ways, is there anything you would like to share with the audience?
I strongly feel
Yeah.
everyone, like Anga also mentioned earlier, we should just embrace AI, and it's a tool in your toolbox, so you can decide how to use it, how much frequency, etc. It's all on us, but we need to just embrace it, is my philosophy.
Just to stretch on that, I want to say that the real magic is not AI. It's still the creative person behind it. AI is just giving us permission to grow faster and dream bigger, I guess.
Totally.
Awesome. Yeah, totally agree with everything that you said. And yeah, please follow Aunty Misri and Carbon Tales. I will attach that
Yeah.
to the video here. So thank you both for coming. It was so nice to chat with you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having us.
much for doing this, Swagata. I think this was a great platform, and a lot of people like us, I hope, can learn something with this. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.